Malo, representing Ikabi Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. I hereby second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion. Yes, Honorable Isiaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Our own quintessential speaker with substantial values. Distinguished honorable colleagues of mine. Honorable Fulata, Mr. Speaker, please, I just first of all want to draw his attention so that I know where he's driving me at by supporting the second leg of his motion. I don't know the title yet, sir. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Fulata, you know the rules better than most of us.
Yes,
I thought because I took it for granted being the immediate past chairman of Rules and Business.
The title of the motion is Motion on the Urgent Need to Ensure the Full Implementation of the Agreements Signed between the Federal Government of Nigeria and the academic and non-academic staff unions of federal tertiary institutions to stop forthwith any further strike action in the tertiary institutions under the matters of urgent national importance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's the title.
Thank you. I hope Honorable Hussein Jallo that seconded the first leg has the privilege to know the title before he opted to second.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Isiaka. I don't know whether you raise your hand to just make this clarification or to second.
Mr. Speaker, I will now be with my very good friend, sir. And this wise, now that I know why he's moving this motion, and I consider it to be very urgent, and that we should suspend our rules to take the motion. So I second the second leg of this motion, Mr. Speaker. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Fulata, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. House notes that education is the hub of the economic, socio-economic, political, and technological development of every nation, which equips individuals with the knowledge, skills, critical thinking abilities essential for effective decision-making and problem-solving in shaping policies, laws, and the overall direction of a nation and the economy. Further notes that for a country to attain its aspiration of socio-economic, political, and technological development, it must have a functional, sustainable, quality, and stable tertiary education system to be able to produce qualified and productive graduates in its labor force that would drive the process. Concern that Nigerian tertiary education subsector has witnessed unprecedented strike actions over the last 3 decades as a result of disagreements and non-implementation of agreements, memorandum of understanding, most especially the 2009 agreement and such other agreements reached between the government and the unions. Worried that strike actions have continued to distort both the academic activities and the calendar, thereby negatively affecting the early and timely completion of academic programs and by extension the future of students as a result of these incessant strikes. These and other issues such as poor funding of public tertiary institutions in the education subsector resulted to a growing demand for foreign-owned and private universities in the country, which is characterized by its illicit activities, including certificate racketeering. Also, the actions have negative effects on the realization of the missions and visions set by the government, with possible consequences on our economic and technological development. Aware that most of the demands by the unions, which include the provision of infrastructure facilities, teaching aids and equipment, proper remuneration, welfare and allowances, especially and allowances, conducive working environment, and are genuine and implementable, which will forthwith avert any occurrence of such actions in our tertiary institutions. Disturbed that the way and manner this issue is being handled and treated with levity and given selective treatment, if not properly handled and resolved amicably, is capable of further aggravating the impasse and distorting academic activities with the attendant proliferation of social vices, economic and security consequences to the country. Further concerned that we do not need another strike in order to address these problems of the unions. House resolves, 1, to urge the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to use his good office and direct the relevant MDS to come up with modalities for true negotiation with both academic and non-academic unions so as to come up with workable, implementable, and final agreement to be signed by both parties. 2, direct the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget Office of the Federation, Accountant General of the Federation, and such MDS to ensure full implementation and prompt payment of all monies due to the unions. 3, advise the government to forthwith desist from any further selective treatment of any of the unions to create fair treatment and avoid counter-strike actions by the other sister unions. Thirdly, fourthly, mandate the House committees on university education, polytechnic education, federal colleges of education, labor and productivity, finance and legislative compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Maki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I'm Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamudori Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion heavily moved by my senior colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on university education, polytechnic education, federal colleges of education, labor and productivity, finance, and legislative compliance for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Honorable Austin Asema Achado. If Honorable Achado is around, please can you rise and move your motion.
Honorable Speaker, sir, distinguished colleagues, my name is Architect Dr. Austin Asema Achado. I represent the good people of Gwe East, Gwe West Federal Constituency of Benue State. I come under Order 8, Room 5, on a matter of urgent public importance, on the need to investigate the procurement process and award on contract for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. I move that the relevant House rules be set aside to enable us hear this motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg? Honorable Victor, can you second the first leg after mentioning the
Right, Honorable Speaker.
The very important title of this motion?
On the instructions of Mr. Speaker, I'm seconding this motion because I'm convinced in myself that there's nothing urgent in the motion that is moving. So, but it doesn't come under the, I don't see why it should come under the matters of urgent public importance by my own consideration, but my boss, I comply, I second the motion as heavily moved for my
Thank you very much, and I partially agree with you, but considering that we are not taking motions on notice for this week, I would want to beg the House to graciously accept this particular motion. So we put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. The second leg of the motion. These Benue people, you love each other too much, yo. And please go ahead as a con.
Thank you, Your Excellency, my colleagues. My name is Solomon Wombo. I represent the people of Kasnala, Ukum, Logo Federal Constituency. I stand this morning to support the second leg, to second the second leg of the motion that is urgent enough, and the House should suspend the relevant rules to enable us to take the motion now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and distinguished colleagues. There is an urgent need for the House to investigate the procurement process and award of contract for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. The House notes that the Federal Ministry of Works has executed an engineering procurement, construction, and finance contract in favor of High-Tech Construction Company Nigeria Limited for delivery of 700-kilometer Lagos to Calabar Coastal Road and rail project, estimated at the rate of
What's the point of order? Please put over your microphone so that you can be able to go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm trying to draw the attention of the House that this same motion was raised. Self-explanation, please.
What are you saying?
Self-explanation. Mr. Speaker, I'm protected. This same motion was raised in this House yesterday. So it's a repetition, sir.
Are you sure it has been taken yesterday?
Yes, it was taken yesterday.
On that petition, the same thing?
Coastal Road. Coastal Road was taken yesterday, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. My honorable colleague, are you aware that this particular motion was considered under petition yesterday? I've just been made to understand that it was taken, and you cannot present the same subject matter under two different fora. So I think if you accept that it was already presented, you can kindly move that the House should step down this motion.
Honorable Speaker, sir. Yesterday, the mover was talking about compensation, and we're talking about the process of the procurement process. The issue of procurement process was never raised yesterday, and yesterday was a petition about it. Today is a motion on the procurement process. There are different things altogether. And I've given a copy of the motion to you, so you can see even the prayers. If you look at the prayers, they are completely different.
Okay, Honorable Kama, your point of order is noted, but let us allow him to conclude. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The House notes that the Federal Ministry of Works has executed an engineering procurement, construction, and finance contract in favor of High-Tech Construction Company Nigeria Limited for the delivery of 700 kilometers Lagos to Calabar Coastal Road and Rail project, estimated at the rate of 4.329 billion naira per kilometer, using reinforced concrete technology for a carriage width of 59.7 meters, to include tail lengths, shoulders, rail with additional designs of service docks, street lights, drainages, and shore protection. further notes that this laudable project, with the prospect of providing easy access for movement of goods and services across the nation, has a financing structure as announced by the Honorable Minister of Works, which requires the federal government to provide 15% to 30% co-financing, while the private sector counterpart will provide the balance, and to tour the road when completed for a minimum of 15 years to ensure full recovery of all debts and equity applied for the delivery of the project. Concerned that the procurement strategy may have violated Public Procurement Act 2007, Section 42, which requires that where a procuring authority adopts to use restrictive tendering approach, it should be on the basis that the said goods and services are available only from a limited number of suppliers and contractors, and as such, tenders shall be invited from all such contractors who can provide such goods and services. Aware that the procurement strategy adopted by the Federal Ministry of Works for the award of the contract violates the Infrastructural Concession and Regulatory Commission Act 2005, as Section 4 of the Act outlines that all approved infrastructure projects and contracts for financing, construction, and maintenance must be advertised for open competitive bid in at least 3 national dailies. And Section 5 of the Act further clarifies that any direct negotiations with only one contractor could be allowed only after exhausting the provisions of Section 4. Worried that the Federal Ministry of Works, in promoting the project, has provided a rate for per kilometer for the works, but has not provided the private partners financing sources, structure, competitiveness.
House Leader.
As this is likely to create contingent liabilities to the Nigerian government. Disturbed that the contingent liabilities accruing to the federal government of Nigeria on this project violates the Debt Management Office Establishment Act 2023. As Section 22(3) states that a minister shall not guarantee an external loan unless the terms and conditions of the loan shall have been laid before the National Assembly and approved by each resolution. The guarantees issued to cover the debt financing component of this project do not have the approval of this National Assembly. The House therefore resolves to call on the Honorable Minister of Works, the Honorable Minister of Finance, and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to ensure that all guarantees and credit enhancement instruments of the Lagos-Calabar Road project are sent to the National Assembly for approval. The second prayer, to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the procurement process of the contract for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project and report to the House within 4 weeks. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. So move.
Honorable, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafun, Orowana Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to propose an amendment to the prayer submitted by my colleague, and that is prayer number 2. I think it is prayers. He said that an ad hoc committee should be set up to look into the procurement process of the road in question. I would like to submit here that having received several petitions in regards to that particular road project that he mentioned, and even Mr. Speaker also received similar petition. So my committee quickly launched into action by sending letters to the relevant agencies to submit the procurement process for us to look at. the merits of what they are doing. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to propose that the matter be referred to procurement process so that we can continue where we stop. That's my amendment, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder to this amendment? Yes, the High Chief.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker of the 10th National Assembly, and of course my awesome strategic colleagues. I salute you. My name is Honorable High Chief Kenneth Moore Chukwu Gozie Nwachukwu. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my chairman, Honorable Edem. I so second. Thank you. His amendment now. Yes, now.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye.
An amendment.
Those against should say nay.
Correct.
The ayes have it. Any more? Yes, Honorable Bapa.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Ali Ubo from FCNA. Mr. Speaker, sir, the essence and the importance of establishing ad hoc committees in the House is to give the committees the legitimacy to do their jobs. I will want to suggest or propose that there is a procurement committee which is saddled with the responsibility of procurement of all items in the nation. I will therefore want to make an amendment. This particular amendment should go to the Committee of Public Procurement so that they will be given the mandate to do their job. Thank you, sir.
It has already been decided.
Okay, okay, sir. I was asked by the Deputy Chairman to propose that.
To
Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Isaka, go ahead.
Once again, our own quintessential speaker with substantial values, distinguished honorable colleagues, Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka. I speak for and on behalf of the very good people of Ifo-Iwekoro Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the fastest growing economic state in Nigeria. I'm from Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, the motion of this nature, I want to appeal that we should not scrape somebody's head behind him or her. That is the Committee on Works. Since this motion directly involves the project that Committee on Works is directly involved, I therefore propose an amendment that it should be referred, instead of course, which have been notified by the House, should be referred to the Committee on Works and Procurement as stated by my very dear honorable colleagues. So, should be Works and Procurement. Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Honorable Usman, can you second?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I rise to second the amendment made by my honorable colleague. My name is Honorable Architect Usman Murtala Banye, member representing people of Batagara, Tertiary Federal Constituency. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Works and Public Procurement for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Honorable AVM retired Ujao Rufus Adeni. If AVM is around, please can you rise and move your motion?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Yan Osao and the Agbaki of Ekiti. I'm Mayor Vice Marshal Adeni Ojuawo, retired, and I represent the group people of Ekiti South Federal Constituency. I'm from Ekiti State. Honorable colleagues, I seek the leave of the House under Rule 8, Section 5, to move a motion of urgent need to investigate the tragic killing of Master Damilola Iyanda, a native of Ogotu Ekiti, Ekiti South Federal Constituency 1. Sir, I seek the relief of the House to set aside the rules of the House to enable me move this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Any seconder to the first leg of the motion? Yes, Honorable. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Murphy Osara Omori. I speak for and on behalf of the entire people of Ego, Ikubaka Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Benin City, Edo State. I rise this morning to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, any seconder? There are two red caps. Which one should I pick? The one that is darker or lighter?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Hassan Sheikh Hussein. I represent the good people of Nasarawa Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please can you proceed?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I rise to draw the attention of this esteemed House to a matter of urgent public importance concerning the tragic killing of Master Damilola Iyanda, who met his untimely demise due to the action of a trigger-happy police officer while attending the after-party of his brother's graduation in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, on the 22nd of April, 2024. Master Iyanda Damilola was an enthusiastic member of the National Youth Service Corps, serving in Ibadan, Oyo State. He was full of life and a trained civil engineer who actively contributed to the community development project during his assignment in Oyo State, Nigeria, before his life was abruptly ended. It is deeply concerned that the unprofessional conduct of the police officer who caused the death of this corps member is unacceptable. It is unreasonable for any human being, especially law enforcement officers, to unlawfully take the life of a fellow citizen. We must not conduct or allow such killing to continue in our country. We are also concerned about the urgent need for improved measures to safeguard the lives and aspirations of all citizens, including vulnerable individuals like the slain NYSC member, whose life was cut short by the unprofessional action of our security personnel. The House therefore resolved to urge the House resolved to observe a minute silence in honor of Master Iyanda Damilola. 2, mandate the Committee on Police Affairs to request the Inspector General of Police to conduct a thorough investigation and provide appropriate compensation to the bereaved family. Mandate the Committee on Police Affairs to urge the Inspector General of Police to prioritize the training and retraining of police officers on proper use of firearm. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Yes, my dear sister. So that your husband will hear your voice. I'm sure he is there keenly waiting.
Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, my names are Marie Enenimiete Ebikake, representing the wonderful people of Brass Membe Federal Constituency. Your Excellencies, I'm from Bayelsa State. I hereby rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I hereby second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Police Affairs for further legislative action. Please shall we rise for a minute silence. May his soul rest in peace. Honorable colleagues, the next motion is coming from Honorable Oboku Bonzipe Oforji. If Honorable Oforji is around, please can you rise and move your motion?
With profound humility, Mr. Speaker, my revered colleagues, Oforji Oboku Abonsizibe is my name, representing Yenegwa Kolokuma Opokuma Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to move a motion on urgent public importance on the urgent need to resuscitate the Bahrain 252 megawatt power station in Koreama, Yenegwa, Bayelsa State. Citing Order 8, Rule 5, I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg? Yes, Honorable Amobi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The wonderful Speaker of the 10th Assembly, my honorable colleagues, my name remains Honorable Amobi Godwin Oga. I represent Nigeria through the good people of Isukwato and Umunochi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abia State, the best working governor of our time. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my friend and my colleague, Honorable Ofoje. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Have we moved for the second leg? This is the first leg, right? The first leg, right? Oh, who will move for the second leg of the motion? Honorable David.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Ogel David Agada, member representing Oju Obifera constituency. I'm from Benue State. I rise this morning to second the second leg of the motion as ably moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please can you proceed?
Thank you, the People's Speaker. The House note that the Niger Delta Power Holding Plant will built with resources from the 3 tiers of government, the federal, state, local government, through the application of the excess crude fund. The House also note that the Bahrain is one of the 23 natural integrated power projects which has been deemed critical infrastructure in the generation, transmission, distribution, and natural gas supply subsector of the electricity power value chain by the Nigerian Electric Regulatory Commission. The House further note that on the 30th of November 2020, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company lost the power control module of the Gbarine power plant to an inferno. The Bayelsa State government offered to take some responsibility of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, since the state happened to be the most affected, particularly as the state-owned Niger Delta University derived its electricity supply from this station. Accordingly, the state government undertook the rehabilitation and restoration of the power supply through the 60 megavolt amps, 132/33 kV power transformer, which is currently supplying the Gbarine Power Station, ancillaries, and the host community through the 2x15 megavolt amps, 33/11 kV injection substation, which was not functioning before the intervention, and also the Niger Delta Power Holding Company. Mr. Speaker, the House is disturbed that 3 years down the line, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company have not been able to live up to their responsibility by replacing the power control module, which allegedly have been lying redundant in one of its uncompleted stations. Cognizant that the Gbarine Power Station has close proximity of only 700 meters to the Gbarine UBA multi-million dollar central gas processing facility that transport over 1 billion standard cubic of gas to the Nigerian liquefied natural gas in Bonny. Therefore, gas is not a constraint. Mr. Speaker, one is prompted to doubt the competence of the Niger Delta Holding Company to manage this power plant, which has the potential to be the largest power station in the nation because of the comparative advantage of over other power plants in its proximity to gas. Reaching its potential, the Gbarine Power Station can conveniently power the whole Niger Delta region and beyond. Mr. Speaker, the House is saddened that rather than resuscitate the power plant, which is built with $400 million and valued as of today with over $800 million, the management of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company is proposing to designate the 252 megawatt open cycle power station as a construction site, thereby abandoning its primary responsibility of running it to the benefit of the state, the Niger Delta, and the nation at large. In fact, the Shell Petroleum Development Company has over 60 million standard cubic feet of gas allocated to the power plant, which is unutilized due to the inability of the company to operate. This in itself is a risk to the communities in case of leakage of gas pipeline. It is the intervention of the Bayelsa State government that have kept this equipment intact, because they are supposed to be under controlled temperature. If not, they could have been exploded. Mr. Speaker, the House resolved to urge the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is the chairman of the board of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, to summon emergency meeting of the board for urgent resuscitation of the Gbarine power plant in order to increase national grid. 2, mandate the managing director of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company to appear before the House and shed light on the state of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company and the Gbarine power plant in particular. 3, mandate the Committee of Power to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, my revered colleagues, I so move.
Good luck. Any seconder? If you are a royal prince of from Edo, you
Thank
can
you,
rise and
Mr.
second.
Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Chief Dr. Billy Famous Adesuwa Osawaru. I represent the good people of Orion Federal Constituency from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I'm a very proud Benin chief. Mr. Speaker, yes, I would love to second this very important motion. But before I do that, Mr. Speaker, I'll crave your indulgence to give me 1 minute to contribute to this all-important motion. Mr. Speaker, it is very, very unacceptable that the Niger Delta, that is the goose that laid the golden eggs, it is unacceptable that a module that got burnt for 3 years, nothing was done to fix it, Mr. Speaker.
There is a point of order. Honorable Billy, please allow the point of order to be heard, and then you can continue.
Okay. Thank you,
But,
Mr. Speaker.
next time, please.
I rise to second this all-important motion, ably moved by my very good friend, Honorable Ofoji Oboku. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so second.
Honorable Alim, do you still want to raise the point of order, or the corrective measure he has taken has solved the problem?
He has corrected himself.
So that's
Thank
okay.
you.
So those, okay, amendment? Yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Kwamoti Bitrus Lowry speaking for the people of the Sandom and Lamode Federal Constituency of Adamawa State. I rise to amend the second prayer. Instead of to read to appear before the House, they should appear before the Committee on Power. Thank you.
Any seconder to this amendment? Yes, Honorable. Nalaraba, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues. Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba is my name. I represent Awedo Makiana Federal Constituency of Nasarawa State, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the amendment ably moved by Honorable Laure Komoti. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Power for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Honorable Mohammed Saidu Bargaja. Is Honorable Saidu around? Please, can you raise and move your motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Bargaja Mohammed, member representing Isa-Sabon Federal Constituency. I'm from Sokoto State. The motion brought under the urgent of public importance, Fashion Order 8, Rule 5, Paragraph 2, Standing Order of Health and City 2023, 11 addition as amended. Urgent need to address brutal killing of 46 people and kidnapping of 35 in Isa-Sabon Federal Constituency.
Have you moved for the suspension of our rules? Did you? Any seconder? Honorable Lise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Eze, Nwachuku Eze is my name. I represent the good people of Ebonyi, Ohuku Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ebonyi State. Revered colleagues, I rise this morning to support the motion as moved to suspend the relevant rules to allow our colleague present this motion as a motion on urgent national importance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. The second leg of the motion. Honorable Ambaruna.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I am Bele Isa Ambarura, member representing Gwereba Elela. Mr. Speaker, I'm Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, I rise up to second this motion of urgent public importance raised by my colleagues, my neighbor, Honorable Bargaja. The second leg of the motion, ably moved by my neighbor, Bargaja, also from Sokoto State. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please proceed and move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Not with a great dismay, the brutal killing of 46 and kidnapping of 35 people within 1 week in Isa-Sabon Federal Constituency of Sokoto State. Further note that 46 people killed are at Lajingi, 15 people, Modachi 4, Bargaja 3, Logo 4, Toze 3, Satiru 1, Gidan Sale 5, Chohi 2, and Urarmota 2. Aware that 35 people kidnapped are at Gidan Sale 13, Mansalawa 5, Bargaja 2, Sardauna 5, and Adamawa 6. Worried that several houses, schools, and business places were burned, while villages are empty, as a security of life and property is under threat. Worried, resolve to urgent the House to observe a minute silence in honor of the deceased victims. B, I feel to Mr. President to provide urgent security intervention to protect life and property in the constituency. Direct NEMA, National Commission of Refugees, or any relevant agency to provide food and non-food items to the affected victims in Isa-Sabon Federal Constituency. D, direct National Commission of Refugees to establish displaced person IDP center for displaced victims in Isa-Sabon Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Jesse. Lagos.
Thank you, distinguished speaker and esteemed colleagues. My name is Barrister Jesse Okejo Ona Kalose. I represent Nigerians, especially the habit of Lagos, Oshedu Solo. Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, I rise this afternoon at this solemn moment based on the motion present to second this all-important motion that affects the life of the Baragap constituents. Mr. Speaker, I rise and second so, as so second.
Please give them.
Any amendment? Any amendment to this particular motion?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my name is Yusuf Gagdi. I represent Panshin Kanke Kanam Federal Constituency. I'm from Plateau State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my amendment has to do with so many similar incidences in Panshin Kanke and Kanam Federal Constituency, particularly in Panshin, the headquarters of the federal constituency, where a serving APC publicity secretary was suspected to be assassinated, as well as a member of the State House of Assembly, 8th Assembly of Plateau State, was also assassinated, in addition to so many citizens, religious leaders in the churches that were equally kidnapped in the headquarters of the constituency, that is Panshin local government, in addition to the killings in Kanam local government where it boundary Taraba and some of the forests that were there. So, Mr. Speaker, I move for this amendment.
Honorable Chair, I think in order not to water down what you have said, because this one carries specific location specific states, I would want to urge you to come up with your own motion that will purely be directed on your own constituency.
Thank you, Mr.
It will
Speaker.
have more legitimacy and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any more? Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Engineer Satomi Ahmed. I represent the good people of Jere Federal Constituency. My amendment, Mr. Speaker, we should add Committee on NEMA and Disaster Management for the prayers to be part of the intervention the mover suggested. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this amendment? Honorable Ajilo. Yeah, go ahead. Now it will work, I think. I hope it is no Boya that has prevented your mic from working.
Actually, it's the one, actually.
I am suspecting that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. My name is Umar Ajilo, member representing Makarpi Kudan Federal Constituency. I am from the northwestern Nigeria of Kaduna State. I rise to second the motion of amendment ably moved by my brother and friend, Honorable Satomi. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on NEMA and national refugees for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, the next motion is coming from Right Honorable Olufemi Richard Bamichele. If Honorable Bamichele is around, please can you rise and move your motion.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. My name remains Femi Bamichele, representing the very good people of Emure, Bonyi, and Ekiti East local government in that citadel of understanding, Ekiti State. I come under Order 8, Rule 5, to move a motion of urgent public importance for government agencies to track activities in private sectors, several foreign and local companies for homogeneizing the Nigerian economy through trade malpractice. And equally, using this opportunity to suspend all extant laws to allow me to take this motion. Mr. Speaker, I so submit.
Those in support, any seconder to the first leg? Yes, Honorable Zafara.
Use here. Are you seeing here?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues. I remain Muhammad Ahmad Sani, and I represent the good people of Bokuro Marado Fair Constituency, and I'm from Zamfara State. I rise this afternoon to second the motion, the first leg of the motion, as moved by my colleague, as well second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg. My old friend. The place where they put you, I won't be able to utilize you well. And I'm sure today you will introduce yourself properly. For those who have forgotten, you are eminent importance in this chamber. Please go ahead, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Chris Nkwanta, and I represent the good people of Okwa East and West Federal Constituency in Abia State. Just like the Speaker said, and for those who are new to this chamber, I am chairman for amendment. So if you have any amendment before you go to the Speaker, it's important that you go through me. I also happen to be chairman on climate change. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to second the second leg of this motion. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please proceed.
Thank you for the opportunity again, Mr. Speaker. My name still remains Femi Bamishile, representing the very good people of Emure, Bonyi, and Ekiti East local government and the Citadel of Understanding, Ekiti State. I stand this afternoon to move a motion urgent public importance for government agencies to track activities in the private sectors, several foreign and local companies for homogeneizing the Nigerian economy through trade malpractice. The House notes that despite joint efforts of government agencies to track activities in private sectors, several foreign and local companies continue to devise new and sophisticated schemes to homogeneize the Nigerian economy through trade malpractice. The House further notes that in the last 8 years, Nigeria lost an estimated sum of 28 trillion naira to trade malpractice perpetrated by rogue foreign companies. The House further notes that daily, hundreds of trade malpractices are carried out by foreign and local companies operating in different sectors of the Nigerian economy. The EFCC, Customs, Nigeria Port Authority, NPA, and NIMASA can definitely not be at all places at the same time. The House observed that in the maritime company alone, the volume of revenue diverted by foreign companies is about 40 times the revenue targeted of Nigerian customs services. This is the same practice in dozens of subsectors in the Nigerian economy. Further observes that the above stated in paragraph 2A does not include 6 trillion lost annually to sophisticated tax avoidance scheme, according to the former FIRS boss, on issues relating to trade factor perpetrated by some foreign companies. That some of the prevalent cases are happening in Nigeria's freight-free zone, including the oil and gas-free trade zone authority. The House is worried that if this continues, Nigerian economy will worsen while some people sit in their private spaces to enjoy the dividends of this malpractice.
Honorable Chinda, please can you approach the chair? Honorable Chinda.
Of this malpractice, hereby destroying the economy, and it hopes the development of this sector. The House is disturbed that if this issue is not addressed, Nigeria will keep losing to trade malpractice as a result of loose ends in the foreign companies. The House is equally concerned that there is a similar motive why the said act is being carried out despite different efforts by government agencies to track activities in the private sector and foreign companies. The House believes that they might have partners who call the shots and cover their tracks so as to avoid being caught. Further believe that there is a need to investigate, ascertain the illegal economic trade malpractice being carried out in the private sector, foreign and local companies in Nigeria. The House resolves as follows: to set up a special investigative committee to recover, unearth, and prevent the further loss of such magnitude in a bid to enhance the overall country's GDP, restore on economic health. To urge such committee to carry activities in private sectors, several foreign and local companies, from homogenizing the Nigerian economy through trade malpractices. That the investigative scope will be elastic to cover private sectors on land, sea, and air. To build a technical software tracker that can not be easily bypassed, which will preempt the multiple trade malpractices scheme employed by their foreign companies. A report must be submitted to the House of Representatives after the whole process has been concluded. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
His Excellency, Honorable Dennis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Dennis Idahosa. I represent Ovia Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Edo State. I rise to second this motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This House will constitute a special investigative committee in due course. Thank you. The next motion is coming from Honorable Chinda. Okay, Chinda, if it's available, please can you rise and move your motion?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, thank you for yielding the floor to me. The motion is brought under Order 8 Rule 5 of our House Rules, and it has to do with the need to halt and modify the proposed implementation of the Cybersecurity levy imposed by Central Bank of Nigeria. My dear colleagues, as a House of the People, over the week we have been besieged by several misinterpretations of our law, and this has led to outcry in the society. Several members have brought motions on this, including Ali Madaki, Ozo Dinobi, Barrister MB Shehu Fage, Honorable Manu Soro, and a lot other members on the same issue. So I think that we should see this as an issue that is very, very urgent and important for us to deliberate, and then that we also set aside our rules to allow us to discuss this very important issue this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I so move.
Any seconder? My brother, go ahead. I will not call Cyril. I know that's what you are waiting for.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
No, my chair, so sorry, I recognize your junior brother at the back. I will give you the opportunity to second the second leg. Okay?
The Honorable Speaker, in whom we are well pleased. My name is Honorable Kelechi Nwogu. I'm from Rivers State. I represent the people of Echie Omoma constituency. I stand to second the motion moved by the minority leader, my own leader. I so move.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. The second leg of the motion, Honorable, please can you go ahead?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Yusuf Shitu Galambi is my name. I stand to second the second leg of the motion as ably moved by Mr. the minority leader of the House and your colleague. Mr. Speaker, I so second. I say the minority leader, what do you mean?
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Chenda, please can you proceed?
Very grateful, Mr. Speaker, and my dear colleagues. Like I said, I take it that this motion is moved by my humble self and 359 other members of the House. The motion is on urgent need to halt and modify the proposed implementation of the cybersecurity levy imposed by Central Bank of Nigeria. The House notes that the Central Bank of Nigeria, through a circular to all commercial, merchant, non-interest, and payment service banks, other financial institutions, mobile money operators, and payment service providers, that's the CBN circular dated 6th May 2024, informed Nigerians of a proposed 0.5% levy on electronic transactions in line with Section 44(2)A of the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Prevention Amendment Act 2024. The House also notes that Section 44(2)A of the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Act provides that a levy of 0.5%, equivalent to 0.5% of all electronic transactions value by business specified in the second schedule to this Act, be paid to the Cybersecurity Fund. The House further knows that businesses which the stated Section 44(2)A refers to are listed in the second schedule to the Cyber Crimes Act to be A, GSM service providers and all telecommunication companies, B, internet service providers, C, banks and other financial institutions, D, insurance companies, and E, Nigerian Stock Exchange. The House is concerned that CBN circular mandates all banks, other financial institutions, and payment service providers to implement the Cyber Crime Act by applying the levy at the point of electronic transfer originating as cybersecurity levy and remitting same. The House is further concerned that the words of the CBN circular leaves the CBN directive to multiple interpretations, including that the levy be paid by bank customers, that is Nigerians, against the letter and spirit of Section 44(2)A of the Act, which specified businesses that should be levied accordingly. The House is worried that this act has led to apprehension as civil society organizations and citizens of the country have taken to conventional and social media to call out the federal government, give ultimatums for reversal of the imposed levy on Nigerians, amongst others. The House is further worried that unless immediate pragmatic steps are taken to halt the proposed action of the CBN, the Cyber Crimes Act shall be implemented in error at a time when Nigerians are experiencing the aftermath of multiple removal of subsidies from petroleum, electricity, and so on, and the rising inflation. The House is therefore called upon to resolve to direct the Central Bank of Nigeria to withdraw the ambiguous circular and issue an unequivocal circular in line with the letters and spirit of the law. Direct the House committees on banking regulations and banking and other auxiliary institutions to guide the Central Bank of Nigeria appropriately. My dear colleagues, Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder to this motion? Or if you have a contribution? I know the motion is very clear and explicit. Is it going to be a minority leadership affair? Honorable Alamadaki, since you are sitting next to him, let me give you that privilege.
Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues, my name is Ali Usani Madaki, and I stand to strongly support this motion as moved by the Deputy Minority Leader. I do second, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Banking Regulation and banking institution and ancillary institutions for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from the Chairman, Committee on Foreign Affairs, along with all members of the Foreign Affairs Committee. And for record, Honorable Barrister OK Joy Onaka Lucy will be the one to move this motion. If Honorable is around, please can you rise?
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure there's a mix-up somewhere. I will be the one presenting on behalf of the committee. My name is Barrister Ben Etana Bene. With your kind permission, I don't know if I can continue, Mr. Speaker.
Have you moved?
No, Mr. Speaker, I was just...
Please go ahead now.
Okay, thank you very much. I represent Okpe Saple Uwe Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, permit me to come under the protection of Order 8, Rule 5, to allow me present this matter as one of urgent public importance. Mr. Speaker, the title of this motion is the urgent need to ensure effective implementation of the government reforms in Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the missions, and the 4Ds of the foreign policy agenda of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which are democracy, development, demography, and diaspora, and also to avert possible loss of lives and properties of Nigeria. My dear Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable. Go ahead. My dear brother from Kaduna.
Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Members, Bashir Zubair Usman is my name. I represent Binnungwari Giwa Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second this motion. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg, Honorable Fage, so that you don't say I discriminate. Let me allow you to second the second leg.
Thank you, Mr. My name is Barrister Muhammad Bello Shehu. I represent the people of Fege Federal Constituency. I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I second the second leg of this motion as moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Joy, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was just going to a small point of order, Mr. Speaker, that this is not Joy, this is Ben Etana Bene. I make this motion on behalf of 33 others, members of the Committee on Foreign Affairs. And the title of this motion, like I said, is the urgent need to ensure effective implementation of government reforms in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the missions, and the 4Ds of the foreign policy agenda of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are democracy, development, demography, and diaspora, and also to avert possible loss of lives and properties of Nigeria. The House notes that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is a body recognized by law to ensure the implementation of the foreign policy objectives of government is exercisable through the various foreign missions. Also note that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs equally play other specialized roles that promotes and regulates how Nigeria and Nigerians are perceived across the global community, especially through activities in our embassies and high commissions, which carry out consular and diplomatic functions in all areas of our national life. Aware that the government has set in motion reforms for effective service delivery in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, parastatals, and the missions. Further aware that government has put in place a clearly defined foreign policy of trust, of democracy, development, demography, and diaspora, known commonly as the 4 Ds, to usher in a new foreign policy focus for the country. Concerned that the House has taken several steps to ensure that the reforms and policy trust comes to fruition for the good of our country. And in spite all efforts of this House, Nigerians around the world are faced with challenges in consular services across our missions. Further concerned that many Nigerians are illegally held or imprisoned in foreign countries and often under harsh conditions that may lead to loss of lives if urgent actions are not taken. Convinced that many Nigerian students are stranded in foreign lands over issues that can be resolved, and that many Nigerians own businesses around the world helping to contribute to the economy of those countries and sending remittances back home, they are suffering harassment and sabotage. Cognizant that many Nigerians go through extreme difficulties to ensure visa for legitimate travels, including government officials and legislators, after paying exorbitant visa fees. Disturbed that many embassies, in a bid to ease visa application processes, have resorted to outsourcing this process to agents whose high cost of services are borne by Nigeria. That several modes of visa applications are enforced, including express services with huge costs paid by applicants who are sometimes denied visa after such payments. Conscious that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in addition to budgetary allocation, benefits from intervention funds, from running the affairs of the ministry and missions, as well as the internally generated revenue by several missions around the world, has questions in the effective and efficient utilization of such funds over the years. Perturbed that the committee had received several complaints regarding issues of employments in the ministry and missions, appointments, postings, redeployments, and disciplinary issues that have affected morals and service delivery. Further perturbed that the country has properties and assets across the world under various missions, many underutilized and several others abandoned, which, if properly audited and enhanced, will enhance efficiency of our foreign services and increase the revenue that is generated by the federal government. Worried that a lot of missions, local staff ceiling has been exceeded due to violation of rules, and in some instances, the ceiling of foreign service officers. This has further resulted in indebtedness in the respective missions. Further worried that if these issues are not investigated, appropriate and urgent actions not taken by the House, it may lead to loss of lives and properties, further difficulties in visa and consular services, home and abroad, malfeasance and waste, inefficiency and loss of revenue, poor implementation of government reforms, and the 4D policy trust. We therefore resolve that we mandate the Committee on Foreign Affairs to carry out a holistic investigation and report back to the House within 3 weeks. Mr. Speaker and my dear colleagues, I so move.
Yes, Honorable Baturi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, once again for availing to the only European look-alike in this assembly to speak. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Alexander Mascot Ikweche, and I represent the artisanal people of Aba North and Aba South in this assembly. Mr. Speaker, I would like to illuminate a little or throw light to the motion, to this all-important motion that Honorable Benedict has just proposed. Mr. Speaker, my people say the best form of counsel that one can administer himself is that one can receive is that which one administers himself. Mr. Speaker, the truth is that we will all be alarmed to know, or if we are told.
Contributing or you are seconding?
Contributing, sir.
Contributing. Make it snappy, please, because I recognize you to second, not for contribution.
I thought.
But since you have started, please make it snappy so that we can identify
Mr.
somebody to
Speaker.
second. Okay?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to just give a simple example of what happened just a few weeks ago. A cousin of mine who was stranded in Israel. I had to make arrangements for this gentleman to come back into this country, to fly back into this country. Mr. Speaker, Nigerians are languishing in foreign prisons without due trial. There are a host of challenges that...
Hello, Leader. There is a point of order. Please, can you put off your mic to allow... Is it Leader or Honorable Lambaruna? I have already given him the floor to contribute, but I instructed that he should be snappy. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this protection. So basically, I am only trying to support very volubly that the Foreign Affairs Committee should engage in a holistic investigation to tackle some of these perennial challenges that Nigerians go through in foreign lands. Mr. Speaker, you do agree that it is only right that the only person that looks like a white man delves into this issue. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, my brother. Any second, Honorable Larry? No. I think Honorable Tijani will be the best to second this because I've not seen his face for quite some time. Please, can you second?
Your Excellency, sir, Mr. Speaker, I remain Tijani Kayode Ismail, representing the good people of Ifelodun, Ofa, on your federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by my colleagues. And as well, good to see you again, after being away for some weeks. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs for further legislative action. Honorable Police, I want to draw ourselves back to the motion moved by Honorable Mohammed Said Bargaja. In the prayers, he requested that the House should observe a minute silence, which we have forgotten to do. So with your kind permission, please, can we rise for a minute silence in honor of the 46 people killed in his constituency some time back. May the soul of the departed rest in peace. Honorable colleagues, I have two announcements concerning constitution of members of two ad hoc committees. The first one is the ad hoc committee to engage with NNPC and other stakeholders on issues pertaining to the demands of the Independent Petroleum Marketers of Nigeria, IPMAN, who paid a courtesy visit yesterday to this house, and we agreed to really intervene in the crisis involving them and NNPC. And to that effect, we have Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase to chair this particular ad hoc committee. Membership of the committee will comprise of all chairmen and deputies of petroleum and gas-related committees of the House. Thank you. The next committee is the committee to track the activities of private sector, foreign and local trade malpractices. And that committee will be chaired by Honorable Mike Eleman. And members of the committee will comprise of Honorable Olufemi Bamishile, Honorable Mary Ibikake, Honorable Fatoba Olushola, Honorable Kanis Mo Nwachuku, Honorable Boya Wakil, Honorable Maipalas Kabiru Amadou, Honorable Cyril Hart, Honorable Mohamed Bello Shehu, Honorable Oke Joy, Honorable Ajia Abdurrahman, Honorable Rodney Ambaiwe, and Honorable Billy Osaworo. Thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, this is where we draw the curtain for the day, having exhausted our agenda for today's plenary. So it's my honor to invite the leader of the House to move that the House do adjourn to next week, Tuesday. Oh, sorry. Honorable colleagues, we still have one more we have one business of the day, and that is presentation of 21 bills, which Mr. Clark will graciously do before we adjourn. Clark, over to you.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Nigerian Content Programs Contracts, Science, Engineering, Technology, and Innovation Bill 2024, first reading. Northeast Development Vocational Education Institute, Al-Kaleri, Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. National Vocational and Entrepreneurship Institute, Jos Plateau State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. National Agency for Technology Management Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Niger Delta Development Commission Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Police Service Commission Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Pension Reform Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. National Broadcasting Commission Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. National Cotton, Textile and Garment CTG Development Council Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Budget and National Planning Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. National Grains Development Council Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skills Acquisition, Isiagu, Obidi, Auka, South Anambra State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. African Union Convention for the Protection and Assistance of Internally Displaced Persons, Domestication and Enforcement Bill 2024, first reading. National Institute of Agricultural and Applied Economics Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading.
Thank you very much. Leader, can you move for the House to adjourn to Tuesday next week?
Mr. Speaker, I am Professor Julius Ihanvere, OON, Owa Federal Constituency, Edo State. Having exhausted all the items on the other paper for today, it is my pleasure to invoke, for the benefit of my colleagues, the proverbial principles arising from the three monkeys, which says, see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. And I've added a fourth monkey, which says, meet no evil. On this note, I want to move that we adjourn to next week, Tuesday, 11 a.m., same venue. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader, if you want us to adjourn, if you want to remain, you can allow Honorable to move so that we can allow you to remain. But if you are also favorably disposed to adjourn it to next week, Tuesday, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. I rise to second the motion and all the stories as enumerated by the House Leader. I so second.
Those in favor of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes should go, but the leader, our former leader, along with the nays, should remain until Tuesday. We'll come and meet them there.